Careful, you're supposed to move in, not break in. It survived your college days, relax, it'll survive the move. John and Christine had only been married a week. The wedding was small, held in the same lakeside restaurant where they'd first gone on dates 3 years ago. The little house on Maple Street was their first real adventure as husband and wife. They unloaded boxes from the car and into their very own home, excited for the new start. By evening, there was a knock on the door. The old man next door, holding a pie that smelled of cinnamon and apples. Evening, I'm Henry. Folks around here call me Grandpa Henry. Thought I'd bring you a little welcome gift. That's really kind of you. I'm John. My wife Christine. She's inside, unpacking. Henry handed him the pie, then slipped a small vintage keychain into John's palm. Every new house deserves a little charm. Who was it? Grandpa Henry. Guess we got good neighbors. A week after moving in, John and Christine were finally done unpacking. Curtains were up, books stacked neatly, and the smell of fresh paint still lingered. That's when they discovered the kitchen sink leaked badly, dripping in the cabinet below. John called the local handyman, a stocky, middle-aged man named Carl, who showed up the next morning with a toolbox. He barely said hello before crouching under the sink. Old pipes. These houses never hold up. Yeah, we figured this place would need some TLC. You've been working in the neighborhood long? Carl didn't look at him. How long have you two been married? The question was tossed over John's shoulder, directed at Christine as she passed with a box of dishes. A week. Carl smirked faintly. Honeymoon phase, huh? Bet you're still learning each other's habits. So, any idea how bad the leak is? Carl ignored him, eyes following Christine again. Within an hour, the leak was fixed. Carl wiped his hands, scribbled on a slip of paper, and left without so much as a smile. John noticed later that a wrench was still laying on the floor beside the sink. Oddly, Carl hadn't come back for it. Forgetful guy, I guess. Or careless. Either way, I don't like him. A few days later, John was tinkering with his car in the garage. The radio played softly, tools scattered across the workbench. As he reached for the oil can, movement by the window caught his eye. A pale face hovered in the corner of the glass. The neighbor's teenage boy skateboard, tucked under one arm. The boy darted back when he saw John notice him. John swung the garage door open. Hey, can I help you? Just looking, the kid said before slinking down. That night, John mentioned it over dinner. The kid next door was peeking in the garage earlier. Weird, right? Maybe he's just curious. Teenagers are nosy, or bored. Still, the way he ran off felt off. You're just on the edge after Carl. Don't start imagining things. Come the first weekend, Sunday morning, brought a knock at their door. Standing there was a tall man in a blazer, clipboard in hand. "Good morning. I'm Mr. Whittaker, the HOA representative for this neighborhood. Just doing routine introductions." He stepped inside without waiting for an invitation, glancing at their living room like an inspector. "You'll want to keep your garage locked. Break-ins have happened lately. Teenagers mostly." John and Christine exchanged a glance. "Noise curfews are strict. Trash bins out only on Wednesdays. Safety order. That's what keeps us all comfortable." He handed John a pamphlet, his fingers lingering a moment too long. Then leaning closer, he added, "Be careful who you trust. Not everyone's as nice as they seem." With that, he walked out, his shoes clicking on the pavement. John shut the door slowly. Christine raised an eyebrow. "Creepy much?" "Yeah, welcome to the neighborhood." But after that day, small things started disappearing around the house, or at least John and Christine started to notice. First, it was Christine's scarf, a soft wool, one she loved wearing. "Did you move it?" she asked John. "Nope. Could it be Carl? He left the wrench behind. Maybe he took something else." Later that week, a photo frame was missing from the living room shelf. John glanced. "Or that kid next door. I saw him lingering around here. It's strange though. Not much of a pattern." But then, John's lighter vanished. They joked about ghost burglars over dinner, but the jokes carried a quiet unease. The next afternoon, Christine stepped outside to tidy the front yard. Grandpa Henry was across the street, kneeling among his roses. "Struggling?" "A little. The rake's too short." Grandpa Henry chuckled and walked over, handing her a small trowel. "Here, take this. It makes things easier." "Thanks." They fell into easy conversation. Christine mentioned the missing items and what the HOA representative had said. These things happen. Houses have a way of swallowing little treasures. That night, John came home later than usual. The house was quiet. Christine was gone. No signs of forced entry. The front door was locked. Everything seemed normal, except her absence. That night, after hours of pacing, John drove to the station. He sat across from two detectives who scribbled notes while he told them everything. No signs of forced entry. She wouldn't just leave. The lead detective leaned back. "Anyone you're suspicious of?" "Carl, the handyman. He's been around too much. Watches her all the time." The next morning, police brought Carl in, John sat outside the room, listening through the thin walls. "Where were you last night?" "Fixing Mrs. Green's gutters. Half the neighborhood saw me." He slid out receipts and a time-stamped invoice. "You're barking up the wrong tree." Hours later, they released him. John wanted to shout, but the proof was ironclad. Frustration boiling, John cornered the teenager neighbor near the park. "You were outside my house. Don't lie." The boy froze, skateboard hanging limp in his hands. I like watching her. She's pretty. But I didn't do anything, I swear. I've never hurt her." Rage took over John, his fist slashed out, striking the boy across the jaw. The teen stumbled back. John stood over him, breathing hard. "Stay the hell away from my house." Eventually, the police knocked on Mr. Whittaker's door. "Mr. Whittaker, do you know anything about Christine's disappearance?" "Disappearance? Troubling. I always say, safety is everything in this community. Locks, lights, vigilance. You never know who's watching." The detectives pressed for more, but Whittaker only handed them a safety pamphlet with a stiff smile. "I keep track of regulations, not people. That's your job." Almost 3 days passed since Christine had been missing. John doesn't know what to do. He was working in his garage when he spotted a small trowel resting on a shelf, the same tool Christine had set aside to return to Grandpa Henry. It even had her mark, a tiny scratch near the handle. John walked across the street and knocked. Grandpa Henry opened the door. "John, come in. You're too kind to return this." "Christine set it aside for you. It's been 3 days. I don't know where she is. Police haven't been helpful." "Well, come on in. I'm sure they'll find her. Maybe some tea will do you good." Sit. You must be worn out." John stepped inside. The living room was cozy. As he sank into the armchair, his eyes landed on something draped over the back of a chair. A soft wool scarf. "That looks like Christine's." Henry turned. "Oh, that? Must have blown into my yard. I was meaning to return it." He picked it up, folded it neatly, and placed it beside John. "Now I'll make us some tea. You look like you could use it." Henry smiled before disappearing into the kitchen. The scarf sat beside him, too familiar, too real. Curiosity tugged at John harder than caution. He walked toward the cupboard. Inside were rows of small trinkets, showpieces polished and carefully displayed like trophies. Beside them were photo frames, but not of Grandpa Henry or his family. It looked like several different families. Who are these people? Moving down the hallway, John peeked into the rooms. Each one spotless, nearly empty, as if no one had lived there in years. Then he reached Grandpa Henry's bedroom. On the dresser lay a collection of women's jewelry, necklaces, rings, hair clips, all arranged in obsessive care. Among them sat another watch. leaned closer. His heart dropped. It was the HOA representatives. He froze, the realization dawning like a slow, cold wave. These weren't keepsakes. They were stolen from people. But John's unease grew. Quietly, he looked around the house. It was empty. But suddenly, he heard something from the back. He heard something from the backyard. Out in the back was a shed. He found it unlocked. Pushing it open, a cold air hit him. Inside, rows of stolen souvenirs from houses he'd visited. Jewelry, wallets, personal items, all organized. Then his eyes landed on the corner. There was Christine, bound, drugged. Her scarf half loose around her neck. Get your hands off her. Finders keepers, losers weepers. Grandpa Henry wasn't always the warm old man who tended roses and handed out pies. Once he had worked as a mortician's assistant in a small town far away. He had been fascinated by the stillness of the dead, by the quiet way they left behind pieces of themselves. A watch, a locket, a scarf, a photograph. Henry kept them, not out of greed, but out of a strange, obsessive need. Each item became a memory, a shrine to someone lost. When he retired, he moved to this quiet suburban neighborhood. The stillness of death wasn't enough anymore. He wanted living mementos. To Henry, houses were like tombs, and people, willing or not, would offer treasures to be taken. It started small, a missing wallet, a keychain. But over time, his collection grew darker. He told himself he was preserving pieces of life before they disappeared forever. Until one day, he found something he wanted more than any object. A person. Christine, and he knew exactly how to make her his forever. Henry stepped closer. People move away. People are forgotten. But not by me. I keep them. I don't want to hurt you. Just let us go. Oh, John, you don't understand. Without warning, Henry lunged. For a man his age, his strength was unnatural. John stumbled backward. Henry moved with predator's precision, closing in. John grabbed a heavy metal sculpture, one of Henry's so-called souvenirs. He swung with everything he had. Henry caught it midair and tackled John to the ground. As Henry was about to hit John shielded his head with his arm, breaking it in the process. With a sharp cry of severe pain, he grabbed a sharp tool lying on the ground and drove it into Henry's arm. Henry howled, staggering back. John didn't waste time. He grabbed Christine, still groggy but conscious, and pulled her toward the door. They burst out into the night. John immediately called the police. Sirens wailed. Officers stormed Henry's house minutes later. but the house was silent. They didn't find Grandpa Henry. But when police searched the shed, they uncovered something far worse. Skeletal remains, carefully arranged, some with fragments of clothing still clinging to them. He wasn't just collecting things, he was collecting people.
Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.